What is up, Speedsters? Welcome back to a brand new Flash video. This is kind of like a bonus video because we have no Flash this week, and that kind of sucks. But hey, we have some news to talk about instead, and I've got quite a few thoughts and feelings about this, and I'm sure you guys do in the comments down below as well. And if you didn't figure that out already, that's translation to leave a comment, because I really want to know your thoughts on this. Because guess what, guys? Chester P. Runk, if you didn't know already, has been up to a series regular for the Flash season 7. Now, if you ask me and many other people now just on across the interwebs, that this is kind of translating to that somebody's got to be leaving. Like, it's fairly obvious, because Team Flash now, if you think about it, we've got Cisco, we've got Harry, or some kind of, no, it's not Harry, but some kind of Wells, Nash Wells, whatever. We've got Barry himself, we've got Iris, we've now got Allegra, we've got Cisco's girlfriend, we've got Caitlin, we've kind of got Killer Frost now, but they're the same person. We've got someone else who lives down the corridor, we've got the janitor. You know what I'm talking about. We've got quite a few people now, so I think it's fairly obvious that someone is going to leave. Someone's going to leave the show, considering Brandon McKnight, who plays Chester P. Runk, you know, being upped to a series regular. I just feel like if he's going to be a series regular, meaning that he's going to be in literally all of but a few episodes, maybe one or two kind of thing. And I think it'll kind of come across a bit crowded, and just like how many people kind of view Titans has this issue of too many characters, and the Flash, you know, itself, whilst it has really good character development at times, quite often, sometimes it doesn't spend enough time doing that. And, you know, the more characters you have, well, the more it will feel like they're just kind of there without proper depth to them. Even though I'm not saying we're not going to get depth to, you know, Chester at all. I'm just saying somebody needs to be cut. Now, if I could take you on a trip down memory lane, guys, around this time last year, was it this time last year? I don't even know. But there was a lot of speculation about Cisco Ramon leaving the show, Carlos Valdez. And I think, honestly, even though we haven't got concrete, solid information out of that, I mean, we never really did, I feel like it was more than blatantly obvious something was going on there. I think there was definitely talks for him to leave the show. That metahuman cure storyline was, I just don't, well, I could be wrong about this. Someone could come out, you know, on the show and say, no, this is actually the way we intended it. But if so, it just doesn't feel right. So the point I'm getting to is Cisco being cured, wanting to leave his metahuman powers behind, which he did after taking that metahuman cure. And then the season literally ended off with him kind of walking kind of down the street near Jitters or something like that, kind of implying, oh, will he be back? And then lo and behold, it turns out he was sticking around. But behind the scenes, I'm just kind of thinking that maybe he was thinking about leaving around that time, but then decided to stick on for another season. Perhaps there were some talks saying, okay, maybe I'm not going to leave now, but maybe you should introduce somebody else, because I'm thinking that it will be happening after season 6. And then lo and behold, we had Chester P. Runk introduced literally in the Flash season 6 episode 1, and now he's been up to a series regular for the Flash season 7. So just with the way things have been going for Cisco's character, it just does feel to me, you know, intuitively, and to a lot of other fans, that we may be saying goodbye to his character. And I remember there was some speculation at the time as well. I want to bring this up because I do feel like it can and is valid even, that maybe we won't get any more Welleses in the future. Like the Flash is kind of nearing the end of its run now. I don't want to say that too prematurely, but I just want to say it in the broader context of, you know, Arrow had 8 seasons. Sure, any fan can comment on this video saying, no, Boba, like literally the Flash could have 5 more seasons of story, just like, you know, Smallville length, even though, you know, that didn't go on for that many seasons. But you know what I'm trying to say? Like, of course, I get that, but realistically, I don't see this show going beyond, well, I don't see it really going beyond season 8, and if it does, then I'll be very impressed with its, with whatever story it pulls out the bag. And the reason why I'm mentioning how long the Flash could go on for is because we've had a Wells each and every season, and a lot of fans around the time when the debate was about Cisco leaving the show is that, could it actually be Tom Cavanaugh? Could he actually not want to play any more roles? Maybe that character's just been spent. I mean, this is all down to speculation at the end of the day, but I'm thinking it is obviously kind of more likely Cisco. You never know, it could be both of them. I'm a big fan of them both, of course, and I know some fans are of the opinion that actually they really wouldn't mind if Tom Cavanaugh didn't come back, despite him being a great actor. They feel like, you know, another Wells, like really, another Wells. For me, I feel like it's a dynamic on the show that, whilst I admit it has been drawn out quite a bit, despite like new Wellses and their attempts to kind of, gloss that over with a new look each and every season is kind of getting spent a bit, but it's kind of that magic of the Flash that will always kind of make me feel nostalgic to the glory days of the show being the first couple of seasons. And, whilst I still like the show now, it isn't quite what it was to me. But that's not to say that if Tom Cavanaugh did leave, that he actually wouldn't come back for a concluding Reverse Flash storyline. I'm just talking about a series regular role, like if he's going to be a regular as a Wells, like how we had Sherlock last season, now we have Nash this season. I mean, who the heck is going to be next season? Or maybe not at all. So that's just something, obviously, I wanted to chuck out there. We have absolutely no confirmation as for that any of this right now, if Cisco's leaving or if, Tom Cavanaugh's leaving. But I would love to know your thoughts down in the comments below in relation to that. Do you feel that Cisco is going to leave or another character? I think it's fairly obvious, but just on the other side of things, what do you think of Chester anyway? I personally feel like a lot of the fandom needed a bit more time to kind of gauge and feel that character out. I have kind of received him in my mind quite positively. I know I've read a lot of other comments about that, but I've seen some fans who are huge fans of the Flash saying that they're still not sold on Chester. But I'm guessing that the CW, or should I say Eric Wallace, and just the Flash in general really felt like that character could be going somewhere, could bring that kind of comedic yet serious tone to the show. That's why I do endorse Chester, because while some of his jokes haven't landed, I feel like a lot of the scenes he has been in are comedic, they are funny, they're not always cringy at all, but yet at the same time he can bring that serious emotional kind of tone to the show as well, just like how Cisco could, but he could bring both comedic value but also, serious vibes at the same time. And even in the last episode of The Flash, we had that conversation with Caitlin and Chester about kind of his childhood and how he built that Millennium Falcon kind of thing. You guys getting what I'm on about, so I'm just trying to reassure some of you who are like, oh great, we got Chester every or most episodes next season. I think he will be a solid replacement, but maybe, just maybe, it might leave a bad taste in some people's mouths if he's going to replace one of their beloved characters, for example Cisco. But on the same side of things, if it is true that this is all kind of centered around Cisco, or should I say Carlos Valdez, leaving the show, I'm kind of like, well dude, if you want to leave, just leave. I'm not saying I'm tired of it or anything like that, but it's just, this has been a long speculation for some time now. If he does end up leaving, I will literally come out and say, well, this has obviously been a thing since last season that the show or Carlos has been umming and ahhing about. So to the point of where he's been doing that, I just feel like if you want to leave the show, just leave the show, because clearly, or maybe not clearly, I just feel like this has been fairly obvious. He's been thinking about it for some time. And also, even just the character of Chester is kind of fairly similar to Cisco. For example, even the character description, it is kind of like Cisco to a T. Like, McKnight's Runk is a tech genius. I mean, this is at least what Deadline said, who works out of his grandmother's cluttered garage. I mean, obviously that's not Cisco, but the core of this is a scientific wonder. Not only can he design and build almost any gadget, well, how convenient if Cisco leaves the show, but he does so without the expensive backing and resources of Star Labs. Yes, Chester is a DIY kind of guy, forsaking high-tech labs for junkyard finds and other folks' discarded tech to create his own one-of-a-kind gadgets that bends the law of physics and beyond. Fun-loving and a great dancer, Chester is a down-to-earth guy who lights up any room he enters. Oh, and boy is he obsessed with aliens, science fiction movies, and other pop culture interests. He's also obsessed with just his coffee, and he has appeared in 3 episodes so far. I mean, as I said, that's what Deadline has to say about him, and that does sum him up to a T, and that sounds like a guy who's going to replace Cisco if Cisco ever needed to leave. But another thing, looking at Cisco leaving the show if he does leave, is how would he actually leave? Since this is very much so a relevant thing, I think it's kind of interesting to actually speculate about how Cisco could leave the show, because I'm kind of thinking, how would he leave without it feeling kind of samey as what it did last year? I mean, obviously he's already taken the metahuman cure, but why wouldn't he continue working in Star Labs as the guy he is now? There's no powers, he's kind of got what he wants. I know there was that conversation between Caitlin and Cisco where she said, you have to decide who you want to be in this, post-crisis world. But I don't see why he would, in a story and character sense, and I said this about him taking the metahuman cure in the first place, which is why back then I felt like it was very forcefully kind of written for him to kind of consider leaving the show. And the same again here. here almost. But it is what it is. If he wants to leave, he can leave. But why would Cisco leave his best friends? He's not a metahuman anymore. He got what he wanted there. There hasn't been anything absolutely major that has happened to him in terms of like anything in danger to his family or anything like that that's made him want to be like, I can't do this anymore. He loves what he does. He's helpful to the team. He's in Star Labs. He's with his best friend Barry, Caitlin. I mean, I've already mentioned that. So it's just, unless him and Camilla just literally want to start a life somewhere for like, hey, we want to move to Metropolis because we just want to. It's time for something new. That works, but it's just not really believable. But sometimes I guess when real life behind the scenes stuff happens, you just kind of have to write in something the best you can, even if you think and even know that the character wouldn't necessarily do that if it was kind of like in a comic run. But this is TV. You know, people's contracts are up around season 7. Cisco's probably leaving. So, you know, I would love to know what you think about all of this down in the comments below. I know this has been a bit of like a rambly video, but it was meant to be a bonus discussion video. So, how do you feel about Chester P. Runk coming to The Flash season 7 as a series regular? I think a lot of you will be fine with it, but I think for a lot of you as well, just like me, it spells blatantly that somebody's leaving the show. So, other than that, everyone, just let me know your input down in the comments. Next week, we have got the death of the Speedforce, a very, very big episode for The Flash. Eric Wallace, the showrunner himself, has teased that this will be a pivotal episode in the mythology of The Flash. And, you know, if that's hyping up an episode that I've ever seen, this is the personification of that. So definitely check out my trailer breakdown for that episode. Some of you may have already seen it, but some of you may not have. It's kind of more than your average trailer breakdown because I go over a lot of details that the showrunner has said about this and, you know, just kind of speculation about what this could mean, because apparently both characters of Wally and Barry will be changing moving forward. So yeah, that's absolutely everything I've got to say today, guys. Other than that, you can subscribe for more Flash videos like this. Not every single one is obviously like a discussion video like this, but when there's, you know, no episode in the week, why not put something like this out? If you want to talk about the Flash more with me, if you have Discord, why not join my Discord server? There is a lot of Flash fans there. I mean, of course, we don't only talk about the Flash. There's plenty of channels there, but you can speak to me in voice chat, you know, text chat, whatever have it. Other than that, follow me on social media. You can support me more on Patreon, which really does help the content I create on this channel. But thank you so much for watching, guys. I hope you have a lovely rest of your day, and I'll see you speedsters in the next video. Goodbye.